Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. Well, I think over the last week, there's been a story on social media that has generated significant discussion. And as you know, the show, while we discuss national issues and hot topical issues, as we do every single morning, it's also a reflection of what you are speaking about and what you would like to see us discuss. And the issue of infidelity and the story, and this is not to cast aspersions, nor is it making light of anyone's situation, because while I see that things have started, and these are some of the Facebook comments, so everybody's to blame. Wife, husband, and the side chick, that he wants to make the main chick. Yes, the wife wrong for cussing and getting on, but she's hurting. She felt so confident and dignified, tell the world he's not eating from her not having sex. Girl, please, this man left you a long time ago. Yeah, these are comments that have been made on social media. If a man loves his wife, nothing on the outside chick would make him cheat on her. Raj is clearly not interested in his wife. This happens. Well, you know, these are just some of the comments, and they will continue. And, you know, my production team, they really were very interested in this topic because they said, have you seen the conversations being generated by this? And I said, well, you know, it's not really something that I would normally discuss. But as I said, this shows a reflection of what you want to see. So joining us on this set at this time, you know him better as Dr. Love or Dr. Raj. But Dr. Giriraj Ramnanan joins us on set, and we're talking about a culture of infidelity. Now, when you look at Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people believe that, you know, hoarding is part of our culture. That is either you get it, you receive it, but, you know, it's part of it. But in the end, what's really at the base of this? Is it pure primordial instinct? Is it a lack of discretion? Or is it something more? The emotions, the physical? What exactly is it? And do we really have a culture of infidelity in Trinidad and Tobago? Dr. Raj, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You know what?
I'm not that Raj.
I thought, you know, how many people actually called you to ask you, are you that Raj?
Many. I've had calls, I've had person get in touch with me through my office, I've had my workers ask me about it, you know, but then they say, clearly it's not you because your wife would never behave like that. And she has no reason to find herself in a situation like that. Absolutely none. Well,
the story of Raj is the most talked about story on social media, and we decided, you know, since we are a reflection of what people talk about, let's have this discussion. In terms of infidelity, the concept and the idea of infidelity, what is basic sense? Is it culturally accepted?
It's part of the expectation of society. When I first started off about 20 years ago, I did a survey, more than 20 years, 25 years ago. I did a survey, and about 30% of the population, male population, admitted to being in such a relationship.
To being unfaithful or being cheated on?
Being unfaithful, not cheated on. And the women, it was just about 5%.
So men are more guilty than women?
Well, at that time. But what happened?
Do you think that's changed a lot now?
Oh, yes, it has. Because of what I do and my clinic, and people have gained confidence in me, and they realize that, you know, this is strictly scientific, a lot more have come forward. The women has increased significantly in telling you, yes, they are in such a relationship. Men, from 32%, they're up to about 60%. So
60% of men are guilty of cheating?
Yeah, I would say that in Trinidad and Tobago. It's expected. It's part of the culture.
When you say it's part of a culture, you know, because newsroom conversations, obviously we have a brainstorming session before we have these discussions.
Of course.
And I said, you know, everyone has gotten on. I've given. It's just part of the culture. And now I don't know if I would accept it, but, you know, I mean...
Well, that's what I said. It's part of the culture and it's expected.
But is it right? I mean, is it
whether it's right
just
or
a
wrong,
looseness? I just don't know.
No, whether it's right or wrong is based on the person's morality and what they think about themselves and their spouse.
In terms... you spoke about the percentages. What percentage of marriages or relationships are affected by infidelity? If you had to give a guesstimate now.
A large percentage, over 50%.
What's fueling that?
I think frustration, lack of communication, not understanding what each partner needs, the needs of the partner. It works both ways. It's not a one-way street. Lots of time we are so caught up in whatever we want to do and our success and whatnot, we don't pay attention to our spouse and the needs of just being married or being in a relationship. We are successful otherwise, you know, superficially. What you project to the public it's fine, but internally it's not that way. And lots of time you have a lot of frustration with individuals, so they step out of that. Now, a horn could be developing a relationship through social media, but you become dependent on that other partner as opposed to something that is sexual.
So we classify it, and because a lot of people think that infidelity or a horn, as we refer to, is simply something physical. So unless you're not sleeping with that person.
No, it's not. It's not. That's where the psychology of it comes in. If you are involved with someone through social media or whatever, and you're dependent on that person for support, for happiness, that's a horn. That's a horn.
So you can't get why can't you get that from your partner? Is it even humanly possible to have that concept of, I love you until I die, or that one person?
Well, loving till you die is a concept, yes, and it's words. I love you till I die, but what is love? How do you define love? Each person defines love differently, and what you're looking for from the relationship, your comfort zone, your happiness, your ability to feel good about yourself. Sometimes your spouse don't do that for you. Sometimes you don't do it for your spouse, so you need to get it from the support from somewhere else. When that person asks me, should I horn? My answer would always be yes.
What?
The answer.
So your advice to people is that they should be unfaithful to their partner?
But wait, let me finish. I say yes, but are you prepared to live with the consequences of doing it? Do you know the consequences of doing it? If you have horned your partner and you know she's going to be violent or he's going to be violent, are you prepared to live with that?
So it's only the consequences that's going to deter you from doing it.
Well, that's
the fact that you are going to try to make it work with this human being.
That's one of the things. And of course you have to try to make it work with the other person. But if you don't, if it cannot work with the person and your last resort is infidelity, is it a choice? Yes, it is a choice. Yes, you can go ahead with it, but what are the consequences of that?
We'll take a short break, and I want to invite you to get involved in this conversation. Send us an email. It's tmb@cnc3.co.tt. And also, feel free to, check us out on Twitter as well as on Facebook. And maybe we'll open our phone lines a little bit. I'm not too sure about that, but stay with us. This is The Morning Brew. Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago, and we're continuing our conversation. It's a culture of infidelity. Well, I got a lot, this seems to be generating a lot of interest, a lot of emails are coming in, a lot of people on Twitter. So someone says to me, Hema, a horn is only a horn if you take it on. True. And that is that's the response from Twitter.
If you don't know about it, how could it affect you?
Yeah, but we had a conversation off it. I still believe in the utopic, airy, fairy tale concept of love. And I think if you love someone, you try really hard to make it work. You will not go outside the bounds of whatever relationship
But if you can get away with it.
So it's only the fact that you can...
No, it's not only the fact, but if you can get away with it. It's human nature to do these things.
So is it not human nature to be committed?
Yes, you could try to make that work, but if an individual have it within them, remember we were discussing being in love. Mm-hmm. Being in love is one thing. The physical act of the horn, the sexual part of it, is another. So if you get the opportunity to do it, why not?
So and the person wants to do it. So it's only opportunity. So now, is it possible for couples to stay together after there's infidelity?
Of course. Many times you could work things out. There's understanding. You could understand why it's done, and if the other person is willing to work with it, they can say, okay, let's put that behind us and let's move on. I've had many couples come to me with that situation and work it out and move on.
That not happening with me.
It may not happen with you, but it happens with others.
In terms of, truly getting over infidelity, what are the mean? You basically just say that it's driving, the opportunity drives it. But why would people continue to exist in a space that they're not happy in? That they obviously, I don't want to make too much reference because these obviously are people's personal lives that got put out in the public domain. And while a lot of it's now become a spectacle, that's
exactly what they did. And I think the wife did the wrong thing.
But it's now out there. The fact is, this man, even I had this conversation with Gola yesterday. Just the fact that the man could pull out divorce papers right there. Obviously, he has been contemplating this.
And he's done with her, yes, exactly. And if you look at his facial expression, nothing that she's saying has any impact on him.
But let's not make it too much about that. Mm-hmm. Why do people continue to exist in that space if you know you're not happy and you're going outside the parameters of your relationship?
Because of business, the children, the house, finances. So that's why they exist in it. Some of them really want to make it work despite the fact that they've ended up in a situation where there's infidelity. So it all depends on what are the dynamics and what are you willing to sacrifice and where you go from there. It has happened, and do we go forward from there? And there are lots of times that a husband and wife will sit down and say, oh, yeah, what, this is a mistake. Let's put it behind us. Let's see where we can go from here.
I don't know if I could understand a mistake. I just can't. I'm not.
Well, it depends on how you put it across, and the reason behind it. There's always a reason behind it. And if sometimes you feel guilty about it because sometimes you were the one that was hurt, but you feel guilty about it because you realize that you contributed to it.
How the hell could I contribute to that? Let me understand. I've heard that before. You know, like people actually say, well, you look for that.
Let's say it's a sexual thing, which I deal with, and you're not willing to put out what your partner needs. And he gets the opportunity to do that with someone else. He may contemplate it, and then he realizes that there's a need for it, and there's a want, and the drive develops, and he goes out and he gets it. And that's the reason why he did it. So when it comes to the public knowledge of to you, that's the reason why I did it, because you're not willing to put out in that way.
Then they shouldn't be together if that's what the
that's one aspect of a relationship. That's one aspect of a marriage. And if you're willing to say, well, here what? Okay, that's where we made the mistake. This is what I contributed. Maybe 5%, 10%, 100%, whatever percentage. However you see it in your mind, that's where you start dealing with it. Sometimes you say, here what? I'm not going to put up with it. Let's finish this. We're done. And he might start begging and showing you all the positive things, and he might start breaking. Women are emotional, so you could break them down.
That ain't happening.
Don't make it about you. You have to generalize it.
You know, one of the questions coming, what are some of the signs that your partner is cheating?
Changes in habits. That's the number one sign. There's a significant change in the demeanor, the confidence in the person. The person changes. So you see a significant change. You're wondering, well, how come suddenly this person has changed? Their mode of dress, the way they conduct themselves. You see an air of arrogance about them. They behave differently towards you. Now, not every time a person does that means to say they're cheating on you. So you have to be very careful.
So how do I know the difference? Do I just become a detective? You know, there are some people in relationships who will pick up phones, go through emails.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the invasion of the privacy. I think if you observe long and hard enough, you will see telltale signs, and you'll be able to understand your partner, because remember, this is your partner. So you would be able to understand that there are significant changes here and something's wrong. So ask the question, ask the person, are you cheating on me?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines just for a short bit. Stay with us. This is The Morning Brew. Welcome back, Trinidad. We're continuing our conversation. This is obviously generating a lot of interest. If you suspect, you know, you talk about the signs. So what is, and you also mentioned an invasion of privacy. So I don't want to keep bringing it back to that situation, but obviously there are women and there are men that don't trust their partners. So, you know,
why would you remain in a relationship where you don't trust your partner? You're supposed to trust your partner. And if there is cause not to trust the person, go out and ask. Ask the person, why am I feeling this distrust between you and I? Why am I feeling that there is something wrong here? Are you doing something that is wrong? And if you are, please stop it, because it's not going to augur well for our relationship.
And you think people can have that sober core? You wouldn't find all of the evidence first and then confront and say, why are you doing this?
Well, when you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to create strife. If you nip it in the bud, the minute you suspect something and you tell the person, let's stop this, I think you should stop this. This is what I suspect, if it's true. And you lay it out on the table. And that's one way of getting rid of the problem.
You know, I had a friend, and she and her boyfriend broke up, and he said to me, she always accused him of cheating on her. And she was extremely insecure because she was, you know, they were in terms of success and even looks and attractiveness and whatever. And she always accused him of being unfaithful. And then he eventually did it. And he said, well, I'm being accused all the time here. I might as well just do it.
Of course.
No.
That's because
no.
Human nature is like that. You keep accusing someone of something, especially that's something that they know that they're not doing, but it could be beneficial to them if they do, which is something in a sexual situation, they will go out and do it. Because you're accusing me of it, I might as well do it. So you have, I would not feel bad if you accuse me. Yes, it's so, in my mind.
What? If someone has cheated on their partner, what is the chance that they'll cheat again?
It depends on if they get away with it and the degree to which they get away. Once they've gotten away with it.
Yeah, but are we talking about children here? Like, okay, once you were able to get away with something, you're able to do it.
Aren't we big children?
No.
No?
No.
By nature, we are. We still have those childish qualities about ourselves. And we tend to go back to that. So if there are things that, especially things like that, it's like being on drugs. You're on drugs, you have a high, you get away with it, nobody knows about it, you keep on doing it. The minute somebody finds out about it, you start hiding and doing it. But you continue to do it. So it's an addiction. Infidelity is an addiction, you know. To some people, they go from one to the other, to the other, to the other, and they don't care. So it's a sort of addiction also. It has to do with the mind. It has to do with not only the physical attributes of it, but the mental part of it.
Your closing comments. Obviously, you know, and someone sent it to me, an article which says women are cheating a lot more than men are.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I have seen that. I have seen that over the last 10 years. Women are more into it.
And why are we women so unhappy that we're going outside our relationships?
Same reason men are unhappy. There's lack of communication. There's a lack of understanding. Women want to experiment more. Some guys, they prefer to go and hang out with friends as opposed to be with their lover or their wives and make love and find out what it is they need. So there's a lot of frustration. My advice to people would be, do not do something that's going to jeopardize your relationship or your love for your partner. If you know that's what's going to happen, think about what you're going to do. Make sure you communicate with your partner. And, you know, you always try to compromise with the things that you're doing.
Your closing comments. So this is obviously, this is a situation that ended up on social media. And this is, I don't want to personalize it. And I even, you know, I keep saying that it's very unfortunate, the fact that these persons, their lives have ended up in the public discussion realm. But it is very normal in Trinidad and Tobago. It's extremely normal for people to exist in relationships that they're not fulfilled in, that they're not happy in. It's also...
That's only in Trinidad, throughout the world.
Yeah, well...
But we focus on Trinidad and Tobago.
But also it is the fact that, and it also is, I feel it. I feel it for all of the people in that. I know what it's like to be in an unhappy relationship. I know what it's like to be to be the scorned crazy woman. I know what it's like to be the hurt. I know what it's like to be the lover.
So you really want to videotape it?
No, not me. But you know, like I understand it. It's a very raw, emotional feeling.
Yes, but social media is not the place to put it because you're going to be judged on that. A lot of times I have seen persons turn around and say it's her fault because the guy handled it well, really, really good.
So he's the hero and all?
No, he's not a hero. I'm not saying that. But he did the right thing. He just did not react it. And he's looking at her fixed in the face and there's no emotion. So that's good. It shows that he has control and he knows what he's doing. She don't, obviously.
She's just hurt.
Yeah, well, hurt for 14 months.
Yeah,
that's what she said, eh?
Yeah. Your closing comments. What do you want to say? This is about a culture of infidelity, and somehow it's now seeped to be part of our national discussion, where it's an accepted norm. I do not think it's acceptable.
Well, it's accepted by society in a broader sense. It should not be, but then the ones who are going to tell you that it's wrong, they are not in relationships. You can't have a priest, for example, who's not married, telling you about relationship and infidelity. Come on. That's not the right place. Come to a sexologist. Deal with somebody who deals with it every single day.
So, you know, sometimes I'm at a loss for words, and this morning this interview has made me a little lost for words. But, you know, it is all about communication, no matter what.
Yes.
And I think basic human communications, uncomfortable situations are uncomfortable situations. No one likes to confront messy emotional issues, and that's a reality. But sometimes, maybe to avoid ending up on social media, to avoid all of the bacchanal and the Trini drama and the Trini lingo, just have a conversation. And if you're not happy, say it. There are so many fish in the sea. Stay with us. This is The Morning Brew.